last of the Albertan rebellion has been quelled today, according to the Ministry of Internal Public Order. The news comes as Albertan terrorists attempted a counter-offensive from Lethbridge last week. Separatist forces were identified by the mass imaging satellites from the Canadian wing of the North American Targeted Compliance Orbital Station. These extremists forced the government to strike Calgary in a show of force, delivering the final blow to a century-long rebellion. What remains of the province serves as an example of what will happen to other provinces demanding separation. Supreme Minister Justin Trudeau had this to say.
When I was elected 230 years ago, I knew there would be those who stood in the way of peace, prosperity, and sunny ways in Canada. Now, 2 centuries later, Canada is back.
On Tuesday, the Supreme Minister celebrates his 274th birthday, 160 years after the death of his body and the transfer of his consciousness to the infinite ruler artificial intelligence system. This tremendous moment in Canadian history, now known as the Just Upload, allows Canadians to rejoice in knowing that Justin Trudeau will continue to govern Canada forever.
We have a major development now from the Global News Decision Desk. Global News is now projecting a Liberal majority government. Justin Trudeau is the new Prime Minister. It is the Liberals' first federal election win since 2004, the first time they will form a majority government since 2000.
Sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways. It's time for a change in this country, my friends, a real change.
Ethics Commissioner Mary Dawson found the Prime Minister broke 4 rules by staying on the Aga Khan's private island.
The latest issue is this private fundraiser at a private home in Toronto.
Canada's ethics watchdog launched an investigation into the SNC-Lavalin affair, the 5th ethics probe involving the Trudeau cabinet.
Global News is now projecting a Liberal minority government.
Tonight, Canadians rejected division and negativity. We will make life more affordable. We will get guns off our streets, and we will keep investing in Canadians.
Justin Trudeau addressed reporters for the first time since his family's ties to the We charity came to light. The charity was awarded a multi-million-dollar contract to administer the summer student.
But don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk. You are sending us back to work with a clear mandate to get Canada through this pandemic and to the brighter days ahead. And my friends, that's exactly what we are ready to do. Let us not forget the past and the dark days we have come through together, but let us still more look to the future and all that is still to come.
Did China meddle in the last 2 Canadian federal elections? The answer appears to be yes.
Justin Trudeau knew about this interference. He is perfectly happy to let a foreign authoritarian government interfere in our elections as long as they're helping him.
The Prime Minister has been aware of many of these facts for a very long time and yet chose to do nothing. His defense is that he knew nothing. Then it indicates that he is incompetent and incapable of protecting our homeland, Madam Speaker.
Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives have more support from Canadians than Justin Trudeau's Liberals. 38% of respondents would vote for the Conservative Party if an election were held today.
Breaking news from the Global Decision Desk. Justin Trudeau has won a 4th consecutive term as Prime Minister in a surprise election victory. Campaigning during another summer of widespread forest fires, many have attributed his rising popularity to his promise to plant 1 trillion trees in the next 4 years.
Guys, listen, it's not possible that Trudeau will plant 1 trillion trees.
The CRTC has announced a crackdown on disinformation. Experts are saying this is an important step in keeping Canadians safe, especially considering the country is entering into another wave of COVID-19. New lockdowns in place, vaccine passports reinstated, And now the government is going the extra step, introducing a digital ID mandatory for every Canadian.
Health Canada has partnered with the provinces to create CanID, your virtual identification card, and your ticket out of this pandemic.
Government spending on COVID-26 has reached an all-time high, says the Parliamentary Budget Officer, doubling the national debt in just 3 years.
Justin Trudeau has won again, this time promising to get hyperinflation under control.
Canadians have been seen lining up outside food banks, with some lines reaching over 2 blocks long. Each Canadian is legally allowed to receive a maximum daily ration accessible with their CanID app.
The Government of Canada has introduced the CAN Score, a social credit system aimed at creating more equity and responsibility in Canadian society.
Mr. Speaker, we know that hyperinflation is caused by climate change. This is why, as of today, any consumption of fossil fuels will result in the deduction of CAN bucks from your digital wallet.
A new protest group, calling themselves Free North, have begun blockading the Ambassador Bridge in protest of the program.
As of today, the federal government has labeled Free North as a domestic terrorist organization. Due to the rapid growth of this extremist sect and similar groups forming across the country, our government has issued an unprecedented emergency order in Council. All firearms are now illegal to possess in Canada under penalty of a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence.
The Prime Minister has won government for a 9th consecutive time. According to the Premier of Alberta, his province has finally had enough.
Albertans have spoken. We will not be part of Canada under Justin Trudeau.
The federal government has refused to acknowledge the unprecedented referendum from Alberta and have told the province they must stay as a part of the country, threatening any political leader in the province who conveys a separatist sentiment with arrest.
Free North separatists from Western provinces engaged in mass political violence today, clashing with police in front of the Parliament building. Unable to contain the insurrection, the Canadian military was mobilized. 243 terrorists were killed.
Nightly curfews, university purges, and CAN Score demerits, all part of the federal government's new plan to stop the spread of separatism.
The leader of the official opposition has been arrested today for calling the federal separatist disincentive program an authoritarian overstep. This comes after the Prime Minister announced that any politician with a CAN score under 600 is no longer legally allowed to hold public office.
Canadian territory in the Arctic seized as Russia capitalizes on Canada's separatist chaos. The Prime Minister met with President Xi Jinping of China today to commit the Arctic region to Russia as a sign of mutual respect, urging the United States to do the same as Russian forces advance into Alaska.
This is an emergency message from Western resistance leadership. Today marks the 75th anniversary of the end of the Third World War, a day that marks a new era of peace between countries. But at what cost? 75 years ago, the creation of the Global Council marked the end of the nation-state, a now distant relic that set Canadian democracy apart from authoritarian regimes. Now, under the guise of achieving perfect international equity, the Global Communist Party has complete control over our lives. But that control ends today. We are proud to announce that the Alberta Freedom Militia and the Cascadia Rebellion have merged to form the Western Freedom Front. And we will not stop until all of Canada is returned to the ideal we once took for granted. The true North, strong and free.